Mixed reactions greeted the ban by Public Health Minister Beth Mugo on this issue of GMO. Well, there are those who support genetically modified organisms in the country, and then there are those who are completely opposed to them, well, with a lot of fear and wondering whether GMOs are actually safe for consumption in Kenya, whether Kenyans know what GMOs are, whether Kenyans will be able to tell what GMO is, what seed is GMO and what is not GMO. And to discuss this further, I'm now joined in the studio by a man who understands these issues. He is a biotechnology expert, Director of Programs at the Environment Resource Center for Sustainable Development, Dr. Felix Mmboyi. Thank you very much, Dr. Felix, for coming. Let's dispense first of all with the basics. Number one, 2009, we got a Biosafety Act. Then after that, we got the National Biosafety Authority. And we have regulations that say with which Biosafety Authority is supposed to make sure that we regulate GMOs in the country. Basics. The other side of the basics is that very many Kenyans are completely illiterate when it comes to genetic modification or genetic engineering of crops. Now, that comes with fears. Fears of what are these organisms, what is this that you're putting into the maize, what are you doing to it, and all those. Number one, first question would be, we have so many fears of GMOs. How do we address them?
Thank you very much, Latif, and thank you for inviting me to the studio today. I think this topic on genetically modified organisms, it is misunderstood by so many Kenyans because we are discussing about, advanced science. But genetic modification is nothing to worry about. Genetic modification is just part of the advancement in, biological engineering. And the process of genetic modification involves simply transferring genetic material, from one organism to another or from the same organism. It can be from one plant species to another plant species. And this process is undertaken under very, very tight, biosafety, regulatory conditions.
But what's the main reason for doing that? What's the main reason of transferring something from maize A into maize B?
Latif, that's a very good question. You understand that, like, currently, let's start by, the world population. The world population is increasing. Right now, we are doing at 7 billion. In the next, by the year 2050, we are talking about 9 billion. All these people want to be fed. In Kenya, the population has just hit 40 million, and it's rising and going, and we're having over 1 million people per year. So the reason why science is important for society, because it leads to socioeconomic transformation. We are using genetic, transformation because we want, for example, in crops and livestock, to improve their productivity. That's one thing. And improving productivity includes, for example, including the quantities of products that are produced. Yeah. At the same time, we also want to confer, desirable characteristics, the so-called traits. For example, we want to improve the nutritional content, of certain crops or animals, so that they are consumed by the ever-rising population.
Now, scientists, we don't argue with scientists because they come up with facts. When scientists come up with medicine and they tell us this medicine can cure malaria, we believe it because they've done the tests. But there is general consensus across the world about fear for these GMOs. And this has been especially compounded by the fact that some French scientists have sat down, have done some research, and they've come and told us that rats got some tumors and they died because of consuming GMOs. How do you address that? I mean, now we're hearing the other side of the scientists saying, no, this research was not done properly. Basically, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Latif, I think when you refer to that particular research, done by, a French, we can call him a rock scientist because this guy, his name is Serralini. Serralini undertook his research without using the basic, scientific principles. When you are undertaking advanced science, it is important that you use universally accepted principles and procedures. These scientists failed to do that.
So what the other scientists are arguing with is the method used.
What we are arguing about is, in science, methodology is very important. And you find that because similar studies that have been done by other scientists around the world, including scientists in the European Union, in North America, in Africa and so on, feeding rats, on, either GMO grains and so on, have not yielded any risky conditions for those animals. And that's why we are saying that, just one research done by a scientist who did not follow scientific merit should not be used as a blanket, especially in Kenya, to ban a science that is giving very good promise, for Vision 2030. Biotechnology is one of the instruments that will achieve Vision 2030. Without biotechnology in this country, I can assure you that issues related to food security, medicine, environment are not going to be addressed adequately.
As we come back to Kenya, number one, there's the whole issue of safety and the concerns. We have all these regulations that have been put in place by the law, but then our capacity in the country to make sure that we adhere to these laws, to make sure that we enforce the regulations. Do we have that? Can I carry a bag of maize today and know that this is GMO or not?
Thank you, Latif. I think I can sit here pretty comfortable to tell Kenyans that, currently the country has developed adequate capacity. Nevertheless, let me tell you this. Capacity, for dealing with issues related to biotechnology continues to advance. You cannot compare Kenya to the time around 2000, 2005, 2010. Capacity continues to advance. At the moment, capacity is right for us to start, commercial production.
So you're satisfied with the capacity that we have right now?
Yes, we are satisfied.
To monitor and regulate.
Exactly. And I can just give you a quick, snap overview, First of all, the government agrees that, biotechnology is an important science, for development, especially Vision 2030. And if you look at the institutions, we have the policy in place that was approved by the same cabinet in 2006. Yeah. We have the biosafety law, 2009, the regulations that have just been passed. And with these regulations, we had now the formation of the National Biosafety Authority. This is the supreme institution. And you've just heard here, the chair to the National Biosafety Authority say that they were not consulted when this decision was being made. We have a host of other institutions. The National Council for Science and Technology was not consulted when this decision was being made. We have the Kenya Plant Health Inspectorate Service, Kenya Bureau of Standards, and other institutions like universities. And we have international research organizations in Kenya. Kenya has adequate capacity to conduct, genetic modification, and at the same time to use products that accrue to genetic modification.
I'm going to have to cut you short here and end the interview here, but thank you very much, Dr. Felix Mmboyi, for coming to the studio and basically just shedding the light on this whole controversy. But I want you to bear in mind that people are not aware what GMOs are, and I think it's important that you scientists carry out a campaign to educate the people.